All right, happy Friday, y'all, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We have a couple videos we want to start off with. Well, first off, I want to just kind of go through Keldon's two submissions here. So these are the final render settings. It's just everything looks great. I don't see any render noise. Everything looks very clean. Yeah, I don't really have anything, and this is where we're gonna start with these. Is Kat or Ubed, if either of you have any notes on this or anything to tweak? I actually think it. But I think it actually looks. I think it looks great. Yeah, let's hold off on the clap because we might get one more here in a sec. For him,
we are trained to detect, deter, observe, and report. But one day, 6 years ago, a man did more than that.
Field
and
has a little bit of weirdness to it on the pink little creature, the pink robot. Because I'm looking at it full screen, and it like...
Oh, it kind of pulsates.
Yeah, it pulsates a little bit, and I don't know if that's if he can fix that or if that's an animator fix, but...
No. That's in the depth of field. That's in the rack focus in the side of this. And then also there might be a little edging issue. Just check the edge on that, make sure it's clean. Because looking at it when it's in focus, it looks like there might be a little bit of a like stair-stepping around the edge. That's a really good point. So yeah, just double check that, Keldon, because it's like as we play through. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching I usually try and be like for these final approvals. I usually try and just be the audience. So I was like my eye was over here, but looking at like focusing on this, you can see it kind of like pulsates in and out. So that's a really really good note, Kat. Thank you for seeing that.
Sure, and then the other thing. I know the dust is supposed to be moving. I don't know, maybe make the dust a little less white. I don't know, kind of, probably because I'm staring at it. I think if, for a viewer, they probably won't even notice it, but because as it goes in and out of focus, like the dust goes in and out of, like, gets really in focus and then really out of focus.
Yeah.
And it might be something that's a little, I don't know.
Like it stands out too much, like maybe even just make it a little more transparent.
Yeah, maybe. To me, it's almost like I'm wondering if there's stuff on my screen, which I guess is okay, but it feels like as small as the little robots are, it feels like the dust is too big in relation to the robots, but I don't know.
That's interesting. Like, I'm specifically watching, because I'm staring at it. This one might be a little bit too big, but I think
overall it's okay. There's just a couple that, like, so maybe make them a little bit more translucent or something, just so it's not like white fluff.
Yeah, actually. Yes,
I mean, I know that's what dust looks like because I see it all the time in my house. Desert, it's like, oh, dust, okay.
You know what though? And it just so happened that I was looking down here, but like I just kind of like watching right in here. Like I got that one go down. And this one kind of comes up, and then they kind of stop. I guess they keep moving. Maybe it just might be a matter of just if you can eliminate those. I would just take those out.
Yeah, I don't know if they really add anything.
Yeah, because back here they look great, and I like seeing them come in and out of focus. But like the super sharp ones for a long period of time probably start making you aware that they're not. That something's going on there. That's a good call. All right, cool. Let's hop over into this one. See one more thing. All in all, this looks really good. Let's just see if it's interesting. Oh, I see what I'm seeing. Okay, so I'm looking at this shadow down the side of this here, and that's what's kind of popping. I was like, why does it feel like something is popping? Is there any way to soften that as it comes down the side? It's just like a little bit. It just feels like a little bit strobing, and it might even be a matter of just because you can kind of just see it in that thin little bit. It just almost feels like it just feels like a roto edge or something. And the other thing I was going to tell you too was there's a little bit of just try a frame blend in Nuke on the edge of this. Like I would just draw a roto around this, and then if the character's separate, I would just do it just on the background and run a frame blend on this that it's maybe you can get away with just like 3 frames because the camera's moving, but it's moving very slowly, and you might be able to get away with it because it's out of focus back there too. Just because I want to get some of the the highlights on the edge of that cleaned up, if possible. But everything else is looking really great.
On the reflection on the base of the lamp, there's something. So there's the light bulb, and then he slides it across, and it is the desk shaking or is the light bulb shaking? Because like it's moving, but nothing else is moving. After he slides the folder across and then pulls back.
Yeah, let's think.
Because I know the light's supposed to move, and that I get, but it just seems like I don't know if there's something, if the animator made it move, or if it's just the way.
I think the animator made it move, but
just seems a little.
It's interesting because at points it feels stuck to the desk, and then it feels like it's moving independently. But I'm just like watching it in relative to the folder. That probably feels more like an animation thing to me.
Okay.
Yeah, like yeah, you're right because there's a couple points there at the end where the lamp itself moves, but the folder stays still.
Yeah, it's like at the beginning, like the reflection of the lamp is moving, but it's like nothing else is moving.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's interesting. I mean, the reflection moving and nothing else kind of makes sense because the position of the camera is changing, but not the position of the lamp itself, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
So just Good.
When his hands are over the desk, something seems weird there. Not that part, but at the end, as he moves, it almost looks like it's supposed to be 3D, like he's popping out because there's not.
Oh right, so yeah, that was a solution because he's penetrating the desk.
Oh, okay.
So it's either that or. Yeah, or his hands.
Like shrink the desk.
That might be problematic because then like the lamp may not fit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's weird because it looks like he's supposed to be like 3D popping.
Yeah, no. It's like one of those shots you see in a film and you're like, oh well, that's clearly the shot they want to be in 3D. The only thing about the hand position here is just to, if possible, to soften the shadow right here that cuts across him. But if not, it's no big deal.
Should there be more red subsurface on the skin? Not that I hate to do this to Keldon because I know he's been working on it a ton, but when it's underneath the lamp.
Possibly, yeah. So that could, like, all this stuff that we're talking about, I think is all in the render layers. If you have AOVs broken out for the subsurface, it might just be a matter of bumping it up in that region. Yeah, it's good. There's good notes. Good notes. All right, Keldon, let us know if you have any questions about those. But yeah, it's really, really good call. I think a little more subsurface in there would be possible. Would be beneficial. All right, cool. All right, Ubed. So this is cool. I've seen this project through this. This is Unreal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cool. I like this animation a lot. Like, it's really, really well done. So I think overall, what you did is like really beautiful. I just think there's a couple of little points that we can add that can help sell the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
And let's see, just play it all the way through once, and then we'll go back. And that looks good. So a few things, or like one thing right off the top that, like them at the end here look like there's definitely a glowing arcade game screen right in front of them. Like that is pretty ideal in terms of like where you feel that, right? You feel that like brightness on their face. You feel the square shape. You feel it that it's darker on their lower half. Really, really beautiful job with that. Like it's hitting the specularity in all the right ways. It's really, really well done. And overall, like technically, there's not a lot like technically it's sound, right? Like you've got a lot of really cool stuff going on. The one thing that, and so basically like everything, all the other notes that I'm gonna give are just like ways that I think that could help the story. The one thing for geometry is that we want to... behind this character, it just feels like there's nothing. Like it feels like the world stops right here. I wonder if we could put in a little something back there to indicate like if that's more stairs or if that's outside. Like what world is he coming in from? A little bit more. Just it's only because it like kind of just abruptly stops into blackness, and it doesn't like there's no like indication of something back there. So even like a very very dark background like that, you'd still see like a hint of something back there.
Yeah.
And then okay, so at the beginning, I love the thing that I love about this, like the way that this guy kind of goes into darkness and emerges up. I think that's great, and I want to see like a little bit more of that. So we've got him emerging in that. The same thing could happen over here where this guy emerges into that. I think that looks great, and then it's almost like okay. So now here they are. I think you can hit a second level of that with both of them. So it's like he emerges in the light. We see him, cool. Maybe this is a little bit too bright, and then he emerges into some light. Cool, we see him, we register him, great. And then from here, from that pose, as they step forward, they should step into something else. Like there should be either be more light or more like more something. Like this is that not like think of that first position as their introduction. Now they're posing to fight. Maybe the lighting gets a little bit more dramatic, but I think they step into like another thing, and then this character steps into it there. And then again, it's like more maybe just the light continues to build as they get closer and closer, like a little like they're stepping into the spotlight. And now we'll be like if this character's a little brighter and this character's a little brighter because they're standing in like the center pocket of the bright lights that are over here to the side, then they can frame up really well. And then they'll step forward. Then maybe they step forward into some darkness, and then they meet at light here in the middle. And so that could be like a build up too. So there could be like light on the sides and then light in the middle and kind of dark in between. And then what happens is when they meet here in the middle, there needs to be like a stronger rim between the two of them. We really need to feel like the energy in this scene is right here. It's between them. So we need to like build up that tension point, really draw the focus right in there. And then backlit there, and then we go into this, and I think that's from here on out I think it looks perfect. But it's just that beginning stage of like step into the light, step more into the light, run to the darkness, and then boom. Like how do we build up that anticipation of the boom in the middle? Because that's the kind of climax. Go ahead, Kat.
So I think one thing that would help with the notes you're giving is if you notice the video game isn't on right now. So as they run together, it pans over and you can see the video game, but it's not actually, there's no lights coming from the screen. It doesn't light up till they turn and look at it because you see there it's not lit. So if you can put the video game screen on, since they're meeting in like the conflict part right here is right in front of the video game, having lights from the video game might help with all that. Because it's weird that it's on now, but it wasn't on 5 seconds ago.
Right, like maybe feel it turn on, and that's what diffuses the situation.
Yeah, because as they walk in, it's not on. So, because it does look like they kind of like they're gonna fight, and then they're like, "Oh, there's a video game right there. Let's go play over there."
Let's battle it out this way.
So
that's
maybe
cool.
If it turns on as they come together, and then the other thing with this character coming in. There's like ashes or sparks, like ashes from a fire or something kind of coming down around him. But there's nothing in the background stating why there would be ashes. And there's nothing on the other end where the guy's running in that would indicate that there's like a fire or something outside. So I don't know if you want to keep the little sparkly thing of that little ash fall or not, but it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like those are like dust particles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They might be too bright then.
Yeah. So it was like the default that came with the scene.
Yeah, they do. They
so
do
I might need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to play with it.
All right, cool. Great, but really, really, really strong stuff overall. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Let's hop over into our stills. We've got Austin, Holly with the same scene, Theo with an update on this. We're going to actually start with Punthawat, who, forgive me if I'm saying your name incorrectly. Please correct me so I can get it right in the future. But this is your submission for the Power of Light challenge, and I want to hear you. I want to hear your thoughts on it a little bit more. So if you could type up because you chose this image. This is a definite like dark over light character reading. It's very interesting because we've got this very bright environment, and then she's getting shadowed by the sun with the big hat on. So I think it'd be really interesting to hear your take on it and why you specifically chose this image. So I'm not going to say too much about it. I think the textures in this are just beautiful. Like look at the fabric on here and the stitching along there, and then the hat and it all looks so beautiful. Like this is a really, really beautiful image. I just want to hear your thoughts on it a little bit. So, if you could just do a little write up or video, however you want to do it, then because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, cool. Theo, I think the red is now subsided. I'm guessing it was the saturation on the shirt and some of the elements that we're adding to it. I hope if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the chat and let me know in the channel. It'd be cool to know what was causing all that. So in terms of any other notes, I think that you did a good job of getting the shirt less saturated. It just feels a little bit. I think either. This way. I think basically I would just like to see it get a little brighter, maybe without getting more saturation, maybe just a little bit of the gamma in there. Just because I think that there's a lot of dark tones in this scene already, that it would be nice to get like a little bit, just aesthetically, I think that looks a little bit better in there. But other than that, I really like what you've done with this shot. I think that this is a tricky little challenge, and I think you've done a really good job. And actually, looking at what I just did now, I think it maybe kind of split the difference between that and this. Basically, just up the gamma or the exposure a little bit more on that and the redness of the shirt. And I think we are set. I think that's it. And I think we're all good. Kat or Ubed, do you guys have any thoughts on this one? All right, cool. Let's hop back into. So Holly, yours was supposed to first. So I'll start with yours, and then go over to Austin's. So out of the gate, off the top, anytime I see this level of noise, it's a bit of a red flag to me, because I know it's low res and I know it's low but unless the samples are turned way down, this would probably still be noisy at a full render resolution. So you may just want to. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to change it just because who knows, maybe your render settings are super low, but just this level of noise could be problematic. Okay, so I love that we got the bright back there. I want to see. So I'm okay with the darkness right around here being this dark. I like it, but it needs to just be like a little bit, because this is pretty pitch black. Really, with that much light back there, I would want to see a little bit more fill. In here and up in here and kind of around here too, just so we can get some indication. It doesn't have to be as bright as this by any stretch of the imagination, but just like something to indicate what is down there. And also because like we have bright light coming in here directly next to the door, it would probably be darker and then probably get a little lighter as we go away, because there's less blocking it out there. For the characters, I think we got maybe just a little bit darker in their core. Because the two main light sources now are the top-down light and the light coming in from behind them. And so like this part of their bodies can get less light to allow those two directional lights to really stand out. That looks good. Yeah, just like a little bit darker on this side. Back there looks good. Let's see. Yeah, and then this for the end. The robot in the foreground looks pretty nice. The red might be a bit strong and saturated. I would pull back the saturation for sure. But same thing here, just maybe a little bit less light in the core with some top-down light. And at this point, you would also want to feel a little bit of that light coming in this way, right? So you'd want a little bit of that light appearing on the wall over here, and then a little bit of this side of her illuminated as well. Unless it closed during the shot for some reason, which I don't think it did. But just something to keep in mind there.
Is the whiteness on her hair, like in the prior still, is that noise, you think? Or is that, I don't know if she's changing the color of her hair? Or is that like a material thing? Because that looks to me like she's making it translucent and it's translucent white.
It just feels yeah, maybe, because it feels it's definitely darker than that. It's more like a jet black hairstyle. Yeah, take a look at that, Holly, and see if we can't get that a little bit darker. It's a good call. Yeah, because she does look a little gray haired there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I hope, because I just shaved my beard off because there's more gray in there than I was anticipating.
Happens to.
Yeah. All right, Austin. All right, cool. So Austin, this is looking great. I think it's looking really dynamic. I think so. I do want to see it animated out a little bit, just because there's a few things going on, and it's like the character really does, like, the character's pretty dark here and then really bright over here. So I just kind of want to see how it plays out. In this pose in particular, definitely the garment is too bright, but I think your head's in the right place and getting her to pop off a little bit. It's just that, like, especially both, like, her pants and her leggings and her top are just kind of like a solid white tone, and I think we should tone that back a little bit. But yeah, like these specular highlights here and the sides, and just like really reading it through this doorway and getting it there, and it kind of fades off. It's like you're really telling, like, spatially things are making sense nicely. These shadows might be a little crisp, so maybe soften those just a touch. But everything else is, I think everything else is looking really good. Kat, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, just click through really quick. I just don't know if it's a depth of field as he's moving. It's the next one. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know the robot's getting out of the depth of field. Maybe it's just that and the volumetrics and the fog. It just looks really, I don't know. Looks like there's almost too much focus just on her, and you kind of lose.
Yeah, that might be a little bit stronger. You're right. Yeah, let's see how that plays out in the animation, because that may be what we want in motion, but just looks bad in this particular frame.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, cool. Well, this is great, everybody. Really, really strong work going into the weekend. Anything else before we break for the next few days? No, I think you guys are great. Thanks so much for joining in, Ubed and Kat. You guys have great work, and enjoy your weekends. And I will talk to you all very soon. All right, be good, everybody.